So a few days ago, I saw this video by a YouTuber that I really like about the maximalism TikTok style. You know, that style with layers and layers, colors on top of colors, the type of style that my boyfriend calls the clown style, even when I myself am wearing it. Some may say our generation has poor taste, that we're lost, that we're so bored and this is the result. So today I'm covering all about maximalism, how you can implement it in your closet if you're curious, but also where the fuck did it came from. Now this is not obviously a 30-minute video, so there's a lot of things I probably won't be covering, but I just wanted to discuss the topic in general and have the comment section as just a forum. So something you've probably noticed in fashion and basically in everything in our world is that everything is cyclical. It's a cycle. Trends will come, trends will leave, and then trends will come back again. And just like Albert Einstein once said, to every action there is an equal opposite reaction. So basically what I'm trying to say with this is that any reference that I might say is the beginning of maximalism is not going to be the beginning of maximalism, because there's always going to be some time before that period where people were already leaning towards maximalism, but we're going to start off with the harajuko style. So harajuko fashion styles boomed in the 1980s to the early 2000s. It refers to the Harajuku district, a large urban fashion neighborhood in Tokyo that has been the home of outrageous fashion, particularly among young people. It's not a name of one style, it's a name for a conglomerate amount of different styles in one place. The subculture of harajuku style focuses primarily on two concepts: community and freedom of expression. If you're liking what you're seeing, you should definitely search about the Fruits magazine, a monthly Japanese street fashion magazine founded in 1997 that unfortunately is not being made anymore, but will show you a ton of inspirational content. A couple of harajuku fashion styles are the Lolita, the Kogal/Kogyaru style, the cosplay, the decor style, and the goth style. Depending on who you are, you might be looking at these images and thinking that this is very stylish, that it's even high style, that it's simply street style, or that it's really terrible. And I think that's what maximalism is about. It's about turning street style into high style and street style into class. And basically turning anything that is creative and abundant and messy even into something cool and appreciated. A Harper's Bazaar article says, "It's less about throwing everything but the kitchen sink into a look, it's more about picking a theme and pushing it to the eccentricness degree of wearability." But to be honest, I don't really agree with this point of view, because I think maximalism can be that, but it can also be throwing everything but the sink into the outfit. So I feel like this approach is a way to convince people to subscribe to maximalism, even though it's not the full picture, it's not the full spectrum, right? As we mentioned before with the Einstein quote, maximalism is really nothing more than a reaction of our society to minimalism. We've seen a lot of minimalism in fashion in the past few years with outfits like these, and now we're just turning the wheel. We're doing what we do every single time, which is going from one extreme to the other. We literally went from only using high-waisted jeans all the time and thinking low-rise jeans were the most horrible, tremendous thing in the world, to 1 year later loving low-rise jeans. But something we've been seeing is that trends right now aren't pushing the old things away. In some terms they are, but a lot of times what I've been noticing is a trend that is opposite to something that's trendy or that was trendy will appear, but it won't really eliminate the other one. The both of them will just coexist and people just choose their preference. I wouldn't say high-waisted jeans aren't trendy anymore. I still wear them, but I also wear low-rise jeans. But when high-waisted jeans came in, you wouldn't wear low-rise jeans. You know what I mean? So I feel like we're living in a world where maximalism is even easier to achieve, because we're combining opposite trends. We're combining different things that are trendy at the same time and quote-unquote cool at the same time. So there's even more possibilities. Moving on from that, if we study human beings, we would see that we all have two things about ourselves. The first one is that we like to feel like we belong somewhere and that we are accepted. And the second one is that we like to feel special. So what does that have to do with fashion? Well, maximalism is a trend. Trends are worn by a lot of people, so people feel like they are accepted, like they're part of a community, like they belong somewhere. So it's a little bit inevitable that as maximalism enters, especially the mainstream brands, people are going to subscribe to it. But then something really cool about maximalism is that The fact that you can layer so many things and have so much freedom and also not even have a formula for your outfit, where a lot of styles do have that formula, it makes you be able to personalize it more. It makes you able to make it more yourself and more unique, which will make you feel more special. So I think a lot of us will be even more receptive to maximalism because of our need to stand out, to be special. Now, is maximalism bad taste? I think bad taste is really, really relative, because just as I was saying, we can hate a piece of clothing. The majority of society cannot like a piece or a certain style of clothing, but then if brands start pumping it up and it starts becoming trendy, our brains will get used to it. So something that we would consider bad taste a few years ago, chances are we're wearing it right now. I do see our maximalism throughout the years, and not just like today, is associated with bad taste, because we are very drawn to the whole less is more thing, and technically there's less chances to fail if you mess less with your outfit, right? If you choose a simple pair of jeans and a black top, some may say you're wearing a basic outfit, but there's not really anything to go wrong in there when if you're layering 5-10 pieces of clothing on top of each other, it's always going to be a lot more different, a lot more chaotic, and people tend to associate chaos with negative stuff. The last thing I want to get into before we get into the outfits is something Mina commented on her video, which is maximalism a form of escapism? If you look back at the history, I would say most times, or even all the times, where a style that could be considered maximalism, a lot of colors, patterns, new things coming on, textures, they all have been after a period of sadness, a period of tragedy, and we're literally living a 2-3 year old pandemic. It would make sense to see that if we were stuck in our houses, we started trying out new styles when we were stuck at home because we had nothing to do, and now we want to go out into the world with those experiments and we want to have fun. And chances are we're more careless because we realized how precious it is to be able to go outside and do things, so we're not as concerned about what other people think. Not saying this is the case with anyone, but that would explain why maximalism is being trendy now and not 5 years ago or 5 years later. Anyways, that's not really relevant. I think this is just a discussion that unfortunately I'm having by myself in front of a camera, and that's why I'm asking you to comment down below. When I think of maximalism, I think there are a couple key points, and not that I want to make it a formula, but there's obviously to make a concept out of something, there has to be some sort of pattern. The first thing is obviously layering. If you look at maximalism TikTokers, for example, you'll probably see that they're rationalizing the layering that they do. Maybe they're rationalizing it because they have a color theme, they have a pattern theme, they have a texture theme, or maybe they're literally just throwing everything but the sink into the outfit, like I said previously. Just literally try layering things that you wouldn't normally wear on top of each other. I made a lookbook last week where I literally layered my 90% of my closet on my studio's floor because I wanted to film a lookbook, and I knew that if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to really see everything and just be creative with it. I think a lot of times people forget that fashion is actually also a creative outlet where you can puzzle pieces and try things that maybe you wouldn't try normally. Something else that can help contributing to maximalism styles is color. This is not about less is more, this is about more is more. The more color you add, chances are the more cooler, messy, chaotic it will look. And then the third thing is accessorizing. Now, you can say accessorizing belongs to layering, and maybe it does, but when I think of layering, I think of t-shirts, pants, skirts. The whole layering a skirt on top of pants, how silly would that have looked a couple years ago? Maybe it still seems silly to you, but I'm not gonna lie, I would wear that, and I think that's kind of cool. And maybe it is silly, but what determines silly? And it's just fun, and you're not hurting anyone by wearing a skirt on top of a pair of jeans. So people will ask themselves, where's the fine line between creative and chaotic? I don't think there has to be a line between creative and chaotic. I think creative can be chaotic, creative can be quote unquote put in together. And I think maximalism is just literally bending that line and being like, this is creative and chaotic, or maybe it's not chaotic, or maybe it's not creative. And if you're hearing me and you're like, okay, I like the maximalism stuff, but I don't really want to start layering a bunch of stuff. I don't really want to start using the things that are in the photos that you're showing. Pair different colors, pair different patterns, or simply focus on maximalism items. Maximalism is not just about the outfit building, like the outfit construction. I feel like some could call pieces of clothing, certain pieces of clothing, maximalism pieces of clothing. If you have a dress that has multiple prints, or even a print shirt that is really like out there, maybe the texture of a skirt is really, really cool and kind of eccentric. And I'm really curious, and I want to act as a kind of detective, going on mainstream brands and seeing what they are selling right now that is literally pushing people without them realizing into maximalism. I think it's just cool to see how we're all just being manipulated by the industry, because you're looking at these outfits and most of you are probably going to be like, yeah, that's definitely not my style. But then if we go into the mainstream brands, we can see that they are throwing maximalism on top of their collections, and we don't even understand because it's so subtle and sneaky, and it's just kind of cool to think about it. So let's go to my computer and let's literally search through the brands and see what we can find. Okay, so I'm gonna open up a couple tabs. Let's just do these three. First of all, prints. See? Look, prints on prints. Subversive things. I would consider this a bit maximalism. Here it is, print on print again. This like kind of psychedelic print is also cool. Look at this. Look at this. It's like, I don't know if you've been seeing this, but the photo prints, like actual prints of something real on skirts, on tops, I think that's so cool. This itself with the pattern is also cool. I think transparent bags, the fact that you can see everything that's inside of them, creates a more chaotic and messy vibe to the outfit. So that's maybe something that we could say is leaning towards maximalism. It's funny how they'll make maximalism items, but then they'll pair it in a minimalist outfit, if that makes any sense. So we're just wearing the items, we're just not pairing them in that way. It's also kind of funny without it actually being funny to see how many pieces of clothing I've been finding in these stores that are literally the same piece of clothing that they're selling in AliExpress. I would think that these brands, even though they are fast fashion, they are mainstream, they would have the care to produce and design their own things, right? But they're just sneaking AliExpress items into them. Like, I have a pair of sunglasses that I bought from AliExpress like 3 or 4 years ago, and I found them on Pull&Bear. Like, come on, guys. Like, come on. What are you doing? The prints on prints. And to some people, maximalism can be stressful. To some people, seeing so many layers, so many things going on in outfits may be overwhelming, and to some people, it may cause them joy. I have a friend, Marie, and she has a super maximalism style. And to her, it just gives her tremendous joy to be able to wear so much color and patterns and things in her outfits. It's literally what lets her express all of the creativity she has in herself every day. So yeah, guys, this was the video. I think it was a little bit all over the place, and I still struggle to make videos about topics because, first of all, since it's just me, I feel like it's a monologue and it doesn't make it as interesting as it could be. Second of all, I don't know how much you're interested in the history of these topics, so I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you like these types of videos, because again, I just don't know if they're interesting, and I would just rather have a chat with 50 of you, but I can't. So this is the closest I can get to that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, send it to your friends, and you can go ahead and follow my playlist on Spotify if you like the music I wear on my videos. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye!